Get around it, Hawks fans. Mate, what a win. Hawks hosted the Giants and Utahs in Launceston in an unchanged lineup. You didn't know what we were going to get today, but to the delight of 11,000 fans, we've had our ruckman go down. We've had exciting goals on the line, touch, rush behinds, inaccurate kicking, gutsy performance, but the Hawks got it done, mate. I'm Matt. I've got Mitch here today. Welcome to Talking Hawks, the reaction live stream post a victory. Isn't it good after a victory, Mitchy?
Certainly is, Matt. It's good to jump on after probably one of our better wins for the year. It's struggling to find a better performance. Frustrating first half, obviously not kicking straight well and truly in the game, but that came on in the second half when it counted. So that was the main thing, mate. And very nervous couple of minutes in the last sort of 5-10, but it was good to get over the line and happy to be on tonight.
Mate, you've gone out and bought the new merch, the top, just to for the occasion. I love it. I love it. Mate, fans, what are your thoughts from that game? We're here to discuss it all. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your questions, many observations. I was nervous. I was nervous in the first half. Were you nervous, fans? I didn't know what to expect after a good run. And I just thought it was a good test going in. I was, quietly confident, but if it was a loss to a strong Giants team, I was going to be, I guess, understanding. But geez, we won't talk about the men in blue today, but I was a bit frustrated at times. Anyway, we got it done. Were you nervous, mate?
During the game, yes. I tipped us this week, so not too nervous before the game. But yeah, I might have been a little bit on the edge of my seat during the game. But I did tip us this week. I thought Tassie helps. A lot of people that don't play Tassie very often do struggle. It can get pretty swirly down there, and it can be pretty hard to in front of the big sticks, which we saw in the first half, which is usually the other way around. It's usually the opposition that struggles. But I was nervous during the game. Beforehand, probably not so much, actually.
Yeah, we've got a lot of the regulars here. Now, well, it's the nerves seemed to settle after halftime. I think there was a question there around. I think it was a back injury I read with Reeves. I didn't quite catch it during the broadcast, but
back. I don't know what happened, but it was a back injury that subbed him off. And already seen quite a few comments for Weddle, who obviously had to fill that role. And I mean, we competed in the middle with no ruckman. So that was really, really pleasing. Weddle did well, and I think we sort of conceded that, okay, we're probably going to lose the tap, but can we still try and win the clearance? And Weddle was did an amazing job just to compete, but then also try and have an impact once Briggs sort of was done, either grabbing it or tapping it.
Yeah, well, it was looking a bit sad there for a bit there. Nash had a crack. Nash looked better just with the strength in the ruck, but and then Weds was getting done over a bit at the start, but then once the ball started coming to ground, he showed a bit of nous just to jump on it quickly and be involved as that extra mid. He was everywhere today. He was on the wing at some point. He was back. He was kicking goals.
Played forward late. Yeah. It's good to have that versatility. We've seen, swinging Blake Hardwick in the last few weeks, and if we can do that with Weddle and potentially throw him in the ruck, it's a good backup option to have. And Ian's just summed it up perfectly there. How good is Weddle? We can play anywhere, and he showed that today. He played in literally the back, the middle, and forward. And Nick, you're absolutely right, mate. Are we the form side of the comp? Hard to say otherwise. Maybe aside from Sydney, obviously they're going really well. You take Sydney out of it, and I think we're the form side of the comp in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's this, isn't it, Craig? It's a real belief. You can see it. They're enjoying it, the freedom. There was a comment earlier, maybe even after Noodle went down, was there a freedom that came? I think there must have been a bit of a talking to at halftime, but geez, they responded after, what was it? We were just the inaccuracy. I was just had that little lump in the throat. We were 1-3 and then 1-4 in the second, and then that was the Giants had a decent second quarter with goals, but then we've turned around 6 goals, 2 in the third, if you don't mind. Answers coming from places maybe we hadn't seen before. CJ kicking goals.
CJ was good. CJ was good. Cole was good. Yeah, Mass was good. Jarman Impey was superb. I thought Kalshadir responded pretty well from that little bit of a brain fade that he had late, and actually made the game-winning tackle, to be honest. And I think it was actually called holding the ball, and meant that we could go forward again with a minute to go or whatever. So yeah, I thought we had a lot of people stand up, and Kalshadir, there we go.
Well, I'm falling way behind on these comments. Thank you, everyone. Keep it coming. Well, let's just focus a little, because you just rattled off a lot. Keep an eye on the comments there, Mitch. But Kalsha, I'm just loving he's just having a crack. You don't doubt it for one moment, do you? He's flying for everything. When he hits the deck, if he goes down and loses his feet, he's back up before you can blink. And then he's chasing tail. And what could have been a little bit of a disaster with flying for Weddle's monster goal and being touched. He's behind the line. Geez, I was sick of the video replays today, I tell you. But he just kept going. He's got a goal. It's good from the young fella.
Yeah, he's good in the air, isn't he? He attacks the ball really hard, and he's very good overhead. Probably, we want to see him maybe straighten up his kicking a little bit. Not got the best ball drop, but hey, he's young. He's played about 6 or 7 games, so no issue there. He'll improve on that, and he is a going to be a beast if he can add on some size.
Wow, funny. 6 tackles. Thank you, Con. Great. It's looking good. And how was this man?
Yeah.
Did he buy plane tickets before he took off?
Yeah, he must have.
He
must have. I've been pretty harsh on Chol, and probably a bit unfairly, to be honest. He proved me wrong this week, so I'm going to give him a bit of a pass for the next few weeks and see how he goes. But he was very good today, especially early. But the Specky was mark of the round for sure, and maybe mark of the year. I can't remember seeing too many good ones this year, so
got to be up there. Yeah, he was up nice and high. I think, and we're covering it well on the ground. When these boys are getting up, having a crack, sometimes it looked like the possessions. It was really sloppy. Just a lot of fumbles, and I'm like, is it because it's so cold? It looked almost like it was wet. I'm like, is there wind? But then the mist, the from their breath was like sitting still. So I'm like, it's not wind. No. What's going on? But
yeah, I don't know. I think it was just pressure in the end, really. It does get swirly at Tassie. It's generally a pretty breezy sort of stadium ground. But yeah, I mean, it was just good to get the 4 points, mate.
Yeah. There's still some good comments here coming up for those 2 big forwards we've got. Question here around Fred's maybe a little bit harsh here, I would have to say, but it'll be interesting where Lewis might fit back in with a bloke that actually can clunk him pretty consistently and has averaged over 2.5 goals for a couple of seasons for us. If he can get on that.
Well, he's our best forward, so he's coming straight back into the side. I think we're having this conversation in the off air with a few of the
in the chat. Yeah, it was like,
is there some time at Box Hill? Back through Box Hill? And I scoffed at it. I laughed at that and said, no, he comes straight back in.
I'm interested. What do the fans think on that? If Lewis is available next week, does he come? If he's declared fit, you assume he's going to run out of game. Maybe he won't have the fitness, so he's going to do sort of 3 quarters. But you're probably not taking a big hulking forward off, to be honest, are you? You're going to allow him to probably be jogging a little bit just to get through the game. But does he come back through Box Hill? We had different views in our Talking Hawks chat. Here we go. Straight back in.
If he's fit, you pick him. Simple. If he's fit, you pick him. Otherwise, if he's not fit, don't pick him. If he's fit, pick him.
Fred's got an opinion today. Yeah, a little bit of straight. Yeah, on the whole, I can't keep up here, but I don't think you're going to play him ruck. Good question, Daryl. To I guess think outside the box a little. Chol does well against certain ruckmans, I think.
Yeah.
Nashi goes okay, but it would be nice to have that little bit more of a dominant ruck. It depends on the ruckman style that they're opposing. Our sort of backup ruckmans. There we go. That's probably a sensible one, Kerry. But anyway, how does he get back in? This is the hard thing.
Do you potentially look at trying him, though? If he's fit next week, do you potentially look at picking him? And then, if he doesn't pull up the best, then he's got the bye to at least get right again. It probably is better to give him some time. But, yeah, you're right, Jim. It's very good to have options. But for me, I think he's still our best forward. If he's fit, he has to come in. And I think Deer, a lot of people asking the question, who comes out? I think it is Deer. He's been good, but I would say Deer probably comes out, Deer or Gunston. But Gunston's not going to play every game anyway, so they might sort of rotate Deer and Gunston.
Mate, at the moment, I'm jabbing him up with everything they've got just to keep him out there. He's kicking goals. He's nice and calm in the goal square. Just let Connor McDonald run in. Didn't even make a fuss. Just high-fived him on the way through. There you go. After he's kicked that goal today. But I think they'll look at the bodies, and how well they're traveling, because Deer might need a rest just with these, younger frame and probably going up against some stronger opponents. Gunners probably will use a break at some point. So if Chol had the wrist injury a few weeks ago, he's back in looking good, but I think that'll be a factor rather than just the obvious talent or a like-for-like swap. But, interesting. Cons, one little juicy one for everyone. Here it is. Jasper Scaife. So we've just mid-season draft, picked him up. I think he's close to 200 centimetres and a decent frame. Took a little bit longer to get into the system. It sounds like from the interviews I've watched of him, that was good for him mentally as an athlete, just being ready now. But at training during the week, off one step, 60 metres kick.
Mm-hmm.
That will be if he can control them and keep them. Look, he's a forward, so who knows? It'll be exciting to see if he gets a run, what he's got in him.
Yeah, I don't know whether. I mean, the forward line's going pretty well at the moment. I don't know whether he gets in this season, but he's a good depth piece at the moment, and we'll see what he can add, maybe a bit later in the season or potentially next year.
We'll see him meet Box Hill, debuting for Box Hill tomorrow. So
keep an eye out for him.
So the super sub, Brewsty, I don't know. Brewsty's given us a goal or two in a quarter.
Yeah, and he's a good option to have as a sub too. Small, yet if you look at replacing Bruce, you don't really want a tall as a sub. So, Ginnivan, Chris. Thought Guinea's been pretty good this year. I wouldn't have him on the table for mine, but hey, everyone's got their own opinion. Obviously, I think he's been pretty good. Jeb's brought up a good point with the back six. We've been talking about the forwards.
Hold on, just on Guinea. Yeah, I think today I saw a better decision making, because last week there was a few. He was looking for his own ball, and maybe seizing the moment. Maybe the adrenaline's pumping, but it was good. He made some sensible decisions today. So, I think he'll have the benefit of the down staying. But, it's all right. Let's transition. Take it away, mate.
What was I saying about the back six, wasn't I? Yeah, just quickly on Guinea. You're right. He actually, there was a moment, I think it was the third quarter. It might have been the last. I think it was the third quarter. He ran in and he had Gunston in the goal square and he was looking to pass off. And you could tell he was like, "Oh, I'm going to give this," and he ended up giving it to C-Mac and passed it. But I thought we were going to stuff that up for a second, and
I know.
No, we got there in the end. But 5-goal better team. Who's that? Are we talking about Guinea or still? Not sure.
Hard to say. All right, no, that's so interesting. But let's talk about our backman. So someone kicked us off, Jim. There we go. Frosty. Wow. He's just, I think most teams in the league would have a Frosty if they got a chance.
Yeah, has been often criticised among Hawthorn fans and myself including, but he has been exceptional this year and he was good again today. I think he's only having like maybe 1 or 2 moments now of frostball where he might get a bit wild and turn it over, but he's been very good one-on-one and he's been using the ball good too. So yeah, I think he's probably been our best backman for the year. Jack Scrimshaw's been underrated, but I think he's been close. If he's not our best backman, I think only I could put potentially Scrimshaw ahead of him.
Yeah, it's interesting. A few comments in here around the swingman option, and you've got Hardwick, and it's interesting when you've got a backman that can go forward, and I liked seeing the moves today. Even Sis throwing him forward at the end, just to the last sort of roll of the dice. We needed a goal, but Hardwick back when we needed the surety later in the game. So it is very good. Yeah, here we go. Credit to Dimmer again.
Yep.
Call Jacob. Dimmer, great in the fourth. Had moments through the game. Just the pressure in the air, on the ground. He's just smart. He communicates so well. I was glad to see during the week, 5 years is on the table potentially to Cal Toomey reporting that contract extension for Dimmer. Well deserved.
Yeah, it's not far away, and like you said, I think it's good to have him as a swing option. I think he's obviously his best role is still going to be back, I think, but it's handy to have, if things aren't working up forward, it's handy to have him and put him forward and get a bit of a different look. But I think you're bang on the money. He's definitely should be starting back most weeks, I think, and I'm pretty sure he played on green this week, which was obviously a big reason as to why he started back and not forward.
Yeah. I think there we go, Paul. There was a frostball moment being quoted here. Did turn it over.
It was. But as he said, he won the ball straight back. It was, oh, no. And then, you beauty, we've got the ball again. So
focused man. I love the tenacity. He always brings the tenacity. So backs, again, understated. It's, I think, Carl Amon almost every week is close to our highest meters gained. Yes, he gets a lot of the ball for kickouts and whatnot, but just good decision making. Jars was gutsy with his running, with his contest in the air, on the ground. He was really solid. Seamus has just sort of fit right into that back six nicely. Seamus Mitchell, and they're looking good with Frosty, Weddle. Scrimmer having again just a blinder of a year. Not maybe as flashy today, Scrimmer, as much, but I think there's some good opponents they had to really keep down. And when they kicked the goals, it was almost like the fast break, wasn't it? Or at times it was just a crumb and a quick kick. Apart from, what's his name? Kicked 5. That was annoying me. Did he kick 5?
I can't. O'Halloran, is it for them?
O'Halloran. Yes, that's the one. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, who's tagging this guy? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think did he kick 4? I don't know if he kicked 4 or 5, but
4 maybe. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he was good. Don't know who was playing on him. Don't know who was playing on him, but I actually did sort of say that. Who's playing on him? Like, man up. Aside from that, though, really, I thought they did a good job with Hogan and Riccardi. I think Frosty was on Hogan, and I think Scrimshaw and Riccardi. Riccardi threatened late, but I thought he was. But I thought he was good. The team pressure at the moment for the last 5 weeks, I would say, maybe 6, has just been enormous. Like the pressure we're putting on sides and really being able to turn the ball over and actually get some repeat entries inside our forward 50 and then, build pressure that way as well has been outstanding. And I mean, we've always, even last year, our setup behind the ball has always generally been relatively good. We would just turn it over in pretty average spaces, and then we get carved up on turnover. But yeah, the pressure across the whole side has been just enormous, especially the last 3 weeks, but the last 6 as a whole, but incredibly in the last 3 weeks.
Well, and today, we lost the clearance battle, and that puts that additional pressure on the backs. So, I mean, it's great that we could hold it off, and despite the slow first half in terms of scoreboard pressure, but the hard running of Moore, Connor McDonald, CJ, Weddle, like getting back, it's really, really important. And I think that just that game plan is coming together now. We're seeing it. The communication looks really good on the field. And you're seeing it probably after that Port game where there was maybe the miscommunication, whether it was coaches or players or whatever. I'm just noticing a lot more that on the field, there's a lot of setting up from midfielders, backmen, forwards. They're just all looking around and telling people where to go and make sure things are covered, which is really good signs that on-field coaching and leadership's coming. So, mate, I've tuned out from these comments. Have a look for me. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're enjoying these live streams. We hope you are too. We weren't sure whether we were going to get up today for this one. So thank you for joining us. Do us a favour. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, jump in. Do that at any time on our different social media platforms. Keep an eye out for our 6 Points podcast and our MVP article that will come out tomorrow. But yeah, it is nice. When we're winning, we should enjoy these chats. So what do you got there, Mitchie?
A few people asking if Ramsden potentially comes in to ruck if Meek isn't fit. I think the consensus among a lot of the fans is that if Meek's available, then we'll pick him, and potentially if Meek's not back. But I don't think Meek's was too bad. I think he was a test for this week, didn't pass it. So correct. They said earlier on in the week that he would have to. I think it was Wednesday that they said that he'd have to improve considerably for this week. So I would say that he's probably okay for the game against Richmond in Dusty's 300s. One player that we sort of brushed over as well that Fred's just brought up, Jarman Impey. I thought he was absolutely outstanding today. As I think you mentioned, Matty, going back with the flight of the ball and took a few ripper marks and not afraid to stand under it. You're right, Con. You've just jumped in there, perfect timing. He's putting his body on the line, and he's probably another one of those players that has probably had a few critics in his time, but he's starting to get back to nearly career best form, in my opinion.
Yeah. And he was blowing hard at the end. And he's another one of those players that just runs. He's pretty universal. He's just almost that, he's given up inches so often. It's like Dimmer, and they're just competing in the air. But they're judging when to, crumb, when to box out, when to be that outside player and run or be the option. And just so trustworthy, which is really encouraging.
Yeah, I think Anthony suggested he could be top 5 in the BNF, which is potentially. It's going to be an interesting count this year. We had obviously Warple start well, then die off. You got Day back in the side, who's we haven't spoken about yet, but he's probably our most important player now. I think we can say that. I think it's been long enough, and we've seen the effect that he has on this more the middle of the ground, but the side as a whole. Because obviously, when the engine room's working, we're a good side. Our run-off halfback's awesome, and I've sort of just transitioned to Will Day there, but the difference he's made has been phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end there, if I'll take you to a moment, so they've got Sicily got poleaxed before. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, just before that, before we got poleaxed and Brucey got the up the ground. Mr. Reliable, love it, Brucey.
The super sub.
Oh, mate, absolutely, capital S. But Sis, it was about 56 out. Oh, sorry, maybe that's where the man on the mark was. And under a minute, I'm like, the tools were back. Would you have given him a license to just crack on with the torp and just get it right into the square, or maybe? I was still very nervous at that point. Would you have been spitting chips if he launched with the torp? Forward 50 was pretty crowded.
Depends what happened once the ball either hit the deck or if it went through. It probably depends on the result. Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I think Sis, when Sis's kicked, I mean, he looked like he was either just trying to score and then he kicked out in the full and obviously fortunate free kick. But no, I probably wouldn't have minded. He's very dangerous, Will Day.
Yeah.
If we're still talking about Day, I'm
losing track of best of days for him by his standards, but still good. It's like I think our players, I don't know, it's just more balanced now in the back line. It's not necessarily that we need that Sicily that's just dominating with the intercept rucks. Intercept marks. We're seeing other teams probably doing their homework a little bit more, but our back line's actually a different challenge for teams now. How do you try and circumvent, go against what our game plan is and getting it out, getting it to ground. It's fascinating. But Paul's got another one here. This fella.
Oh, he probably nearly the pickup of the year. Probably Ben Mackay for Essendon. Mackay for Essendon. Has probably been maybe slightly better, but Mass has been enormous as well. Uses the ball beautifully. I saw during the week he is the number 1 rated ruckman for the year.
Wingman.
Massimo's the number 1 ranked wingman for the year.
Awesome. Yeah. I think I was watching with Brad and his son said, "Oh, come on, like Gordon." And I said, "Are you thinking about Gordon from last year? Because he was on fire last year." I haven't watched all as much Swannies, but geez, massive. He is. He's just solid as. And are you complaining if you've picked up someone? And I just love sticking that to Essendon first and foremost. But then Mass to come in and then really fit in so quickly and be contributing, it's huge. So he's doing very well, and he's harder at it than I thought he was going to be, which I'm really chuffed every time I see him going near the ball. I'm sort of starting to lick the chops a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll put this to everyone watching and you, Matty. Who's a better kick, Mass, Sicily, or Jarman Impey? Jarman Impey, Carl Amon. All very good users of the footy, and it's very, very, very handy to have them all on the same side.
Well, someone can probably dig up their stats and say
so Sicily, Mass.
We're really talking about kicks here, though. I don't know if there's a kicking efficiency stat somewhere that we can compare the three, but geez, they've all hit some absolutely sublime kicks. The weighting, the distance. There's definitely some smoke coming off some of those kicks from all three of them. So, what's coming through on the comments, mate?
We've had the first few for Amon, then Sicily. Scrimshaw is also a good kick as well. He is. It's pretty even. I'm going to maybe give the edge to Sicily just. And there's a good comment, Jeb, that unfortunately I can't click on because it's not working. But Sis pulls off kicks that others can't. And I agree with that. Equally good, Jim. Chris Maskin really raising them. Amon has, I mean, like I said, triple dead heat, Tim. Can't split them. It was a good question, Matty, in the end.
Yeah, it was.
No, they, like I said, it's just awesome having them in the same side. It's honestly just awesome. And it's a blessing to have.
Totally. Let's that Gunston goal. How was that one on the goal line?
Off the bottom of his boot. Yeah. I'm glad we got that one because I wasn't sure that they were going to overturn it, and they did because obviously we had that. Who was it? Who I think it was Scrimshaw that it wasn't for about 5 minutes before it was up there, and they kicked it and it bounced near the goal square, and I think it was Scrimmer that said he touched it, and they didn't even review it on the screen. They said that they solemnly reviewed it, and then I thought, well, we've been robbed there because Scrimmer was adamant that he touched it, and then
and Weddle's goal that they actually put it on the TV, and that was the one that got replayed with Deer touching it. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
so it was good.
That was tough, though.
We got the result.
Yeah, it didn't matter in the end. The last few minutes, I was like, oh, please don't tell me that that's going to cost us the game, because I would have felt so sorry for the young fella. He's just trying to win the ball. His awareness has been a little bit lacking, but like I said before, he's only played about 6 or 7 games. He'll get better with that. It's not an issue, but
yeah, I couldn't hear Chris.
Yeah, Chris, we did not.
Yeah, me at that point, he would have. Old fella. There was someone earlier as well. I don't know who it was, but saying like that last quarter, I did my day's exercise in that last quarter. So I imagine there was a lot of pacing. There's a bit of energy, a bit of vocal behind the screen at the television on my side, that's for sure. But mate, we got there in the end. I think
quiet at my house, mate. Real quiet.
Yeah, I'll bet. The mids. What did you make of the midfield today? Daisy, again, just some of those moments, more just in that last quarter when the game we needed to win it. And it was in the back 50. Daisy stood up, got the ball, long kick. Giants player sort of got it on the wing, more smother. It's just those gutsy plays by those two in particular, just sensational week in and week out at the moment. It's special to watch. But the midfield, without flying in the way we perhaps have been, interested what people saw, matchups wise, what was going on. Clearly the ruck situation was a factor there. I think Warps worked his way into it nicely in the end. Nuke had moments. Nash was good in terms of clearances, I think, with 6.
Nash played a little bit of a role on Tom Green as well. So I thought he played his role really well today. Obviously spent a little bit of time in the ruck as well. I think stats wise, I think it was 16-7 at centre clearances, which I don't think paints an accurate sort of picture of the game. I thought Newcomb was good. Warple is a contested beast. Day's incredible. And as I said before, the difference he makes to the midfield unit of him being in the side is just incredible. Chris has agreed with me there that, the stat sheet probably doesn't say that we were that good in the middle, but I thought we held our own, especially obviously once Reeves went down, we have no real ruckman, and then Weddle did an amazing job to compete. So I think Charles spent a little bit of time in there. So did Nash. But I think the midfield unit has been obviously a lot better since. I sound like a broken record. I'm repeating myself a bit here, but since Day's been back in, I think the whole midfield unit's done well. They all play a role. Exactly. Nash around the ball in close was good. Newcomb, I think, has been good in his own right. I like seeing Dylan Moore spend a little bit of time in the midfield as well, just to add a bit of a different look. I think everyone's been like pretty solid, albeit, the stats don't necessarily say that, but they're all good in their own right.
The top tacklers for us, Will Day 10, Warple 8, Nash 7, Nuke 6. So even though they might not have been, as far as influence, that pressure, that's really solid. It is good to see those. There was good pressure that they applied to us through parts of the game, and definitely, I think that second half we really turned it up. So it'll be interesting to see what that tackle count and the pressure acts were in the second half. So I would have loved to have seen Maury dip in there a little bit, more frequently today. He did all right, but and sorry, I did make a note. How's old mate Toby Green, who I absolutely love as a footballer, just didn't look like anything with Frosty. Frosty must have really sharp elbows on the way through when he got that big gash.
Just got him in the wrong spot, I think, but he was a lot of claret coming out of the bonds.
Tough as nails.
Helmet on, so.
Yep.
Dylan Moore, left foot snapping from 15 out. Chris, I agree with you there, mate. Didn't like that and fell short too, I think, which wasn't great. I think that would have been our first goal, but actually potentially the first goal of the game. But didn't like seeing that, especially I think before today he was 13-1 in set shots for the year. I think he kicked a few points today. But
yeah, Troy's loving it. Troy is loving it. He's going nuts. Good on you for getting down there, Troy. So there was a breeze in the first. Thank you. I wasn't clear. So interesting. Jim's gone ninja elbows for Frosty. You never know. I was just a bit worried like Toby might just be wanting to take over at some point, just get his own back. But it was good. We've done very well. The interesting thing, like being able to bring Meek back in, I think the chemistry is there. Like the hit outs to advantage. Noodle's getting his hand on the ball. Like he did really well last week. Got on the scoreboard. Ned Reeves. Poor fellow's back injury today. Just didn't quite see the same connection this week with the mids. So fingers crossed they're both well and can be back competing for a spot next week. But Meek for mine at the moment, he's just in form and giving us nearly a goal a game anyway. Just the strength and the ability to cover the ground. I think we didn't see the same ground sort of coverage from Noodle today, but you've got tall forwards, that can cover it in the air down that end and pinch it in the ruck. So probably different strategy going on. But yeah, I'm liking the midfield connection that we've seen develop with Meek.
Yeah, I think he's clearly. I think we've discussed this quite a bit before. Other shows in the last few weeks. Meek's clearly the number one ruckman now. I thought Noodle was good last week. For compared to sort of what I was expecting from him, I thought he was better around the ground than he has been in previous games. Hard to judge today. I think he went off at halftime, didn't he? So it was a bit hard to judge. Just based on a half. He did take a couple of good marks early down back in the first quarter. But, yeah, Meek obviously offers a lot more around the ground. And, yeah, I think he's just a better overall option on the field. And Peter summed it up perfectly there. He's definitely the better option. He just gives us more in, everywhere around the ground instead of, just in the ruck. So,
yeah. Going way back, there was questions around Denver. Could he play on small mid forwards? I think Denver, the commentary around Zane Littlejohn, who coaches Box Hill, assistant with the Hawks, covers the development side of things with the young players, with Andy Collins. Just his commentary was that Denver's playing his role, didn't get a lot of possessions, but understanding playing that primary role, and that was the focus. They want him just to be consistent at that, and did it very well. And he said, said it was probably the best game that he played at the level. I think whether I was talking about to the season or can't recall the exact commentary, but yeah, high praise for Denver. I guess understanding what his role is, and I think we've just seen that with Weddle playing as a backman. Today was a little bit one out of the box. We saw him last year in different positions. This season's been learn to play this defensive role and then learn when to take the game on a little bit a la Frosty. It's just keep it simple, play the role, know the role you got to play. But it's nice when you can see someone like that let off the leash. So hopefully with Denver, we'll see him keep chipping away and doing what he needs to do at that Box Hill level and be knocking on the door. So we do sponsor Denver. We sponsor Jai, sponsor Jazz. AFLW is coming up. We would love a hand from some of you just to... Talking Hawks is an incorporated entity, so it is tax deductible if you want to jump on board and contribute. The funds go into the club to sponsor the players, just give you some great access to those players through ourselves and some experiences if you're able to get in and around some of the events that the club does. So we'll get to Box Hill for a lunch soon, and you'd be welcome to join us as well as part of that player sponsor group. But it is actually cool watching at Box Hill level because you do see these young boys that are missing out. Chad's down there kicking bags. When Chad Wingard, comes in, it might be when Punk needs a break. Who knows? But yeah, it is a good spectacle down at Box Hill. So sing out, get involved at talkinghawks.com. You've heard it all before, I reckon. So
Glenn's raised a point. I can smell finals. What about you guys? think it's possible. I don't think it's likely. And I don't actually know if I want to make finals this year. I don't think I think just eyeballing it, I mean, it's hard to say with our last 5 weeks, but I don't think we're a top 8 side just yet. And I wouldn't want to sneak into the 8 and get smashed week 1. And then does that do damage for your confidence going into next year? I'm not sure. Obviously, I'd love to see it, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Next year, for sure. Not so sure this year.
Yeah, it's about building. And again, my nerves for this week is like, I don't know. Maybe when does this momentum stop? At some point, there'll be a loss. You'd love to see it keep going, but the ability for us to keep pushing as far and as long as it can, if you just step back for a moment, time-wise, outside of this season, how good will it be for this team and the way they're building and galvanizing if they just miss out? If they just get in, it would be incredible. But going into next year, I reckon they would absolutely train the house down with full confidence of what they've been able to start to put together this year in terms of more consistent patches of footy and importantly, wins. Who would have thought would be at this win-loss ratio after round 5? It's, as you said, are we the form team of the competition?
I think we are, and I'm certainly not suggesting that we throw in the towel and don't try and make finals. Of course, we always want to make finals. We'll just clarify that. And I would love to see it, but I think it's unlikely. Although, it would. If I'd love us to be back in September again, and the Port lost, and the Port and the Collingwood ones are probably the two for me. Should have beat Collingwood in gather round, and then obviously the Port one is very heartbreaking still to think about. And we probably should have beat the Bombers in round 1 as well if we kick straight. So, you pinch 2 or 3 of them. Never know. I might be changing my tune.
Yeah, look.
I mean, based on, as you said, based on the current form, they would be scared. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sold yet.
Yeah. We're daring to dream here. Here we go. It's the right signs in the right areas, and it's about that progress and momentum. And I'm loving the journey. The boys are believing, and from the goal celebrations to the selfies after games and whatnot, you just see that bond building, and you know what, that carries teams so much further, especially when the chips are down and you've all got to dig in and go deep and go hard. I think even seeing the level of accountability, you're seeing sometimes they're just disappointed with each other when something doesn't quite go right on the field at the moment. So the standards and the expectations, it's the right mindset. It's the right things, the right signs that we're seeing. So look, you dare to dream, got to dare to dream. Tigers next week will be interesting.
Yeah, Dusty 300th, which makes it interesting. But I mean, like we said, with the form side of the comp, we should handle them next week, I would have thought.
I didn't see the press up, but I'll be interested to watch it back. Mate, I reckon we'll allow another last round of comments, celebrate, put it out there, fans, thoughts. We'll do the rounds here. Just pop 1 or 2 more up where you are killing it with your commentary. Thank you for the chats. It's been a good conversation. It's good to win, isn't it?
Chris, Chris has put, what's a pass mark against the Tigers? Give us margins, Matt and Mitch. Pass mark, 5 goals. If we're going to make finals, we need some percentage, so we may as well smash them because we got a really bad percentage.
Yeah, Tigers have just had some good ends this week, and if Dusty's back, you'd assume it. I think you do have to show a bit of ruthlessness and put the foot on the throat. So if we play 3 quarters of pretty decent footy, which I think we can, I'm going to up your 5 to 6. I think we should be winning by more than 6 goals, and that's a nice pass for me. That's a B pass. It's not quite an A. you're right. We do need some good percentages to be a good chance, because we're basically a game behind now with the percentages. So let's see. We're probably relying on a few other teams in front of us and their results, maybe a few draws or a few unexpected losses. So we'll see. But what's everyone else's thoughts on the Tigers? Since we'll meander, we'll look forward for a second here. There we go. Yeah, 24 points.
Yeah, it's a good way to make it manageable too. Just win the quarter by a goal.
I'll take that, Timmy. Yeah, hold on. Missed the wrong comment. Here we go. Yes, Mitch, bring the 70s back.
Can thank my in-laws for that to present from them.
I do thank your in-laws for that. I'm a 70s boy, so Justin, you need to go out and rock one again. Might have to see you don that on the golf course next time we play, mate.
No footy memorabilia on the golf course, mate.
Oh, please, we'll go to another course then. All right, I think there's a few thoughts here of Dusty's 300s scaring, a few nerves and whatnot. Who plays on Dusty then? Let's just finish on this parting note. Who have you got to try and do a number on Dusty? Because he's not going to be running through the midfield. Maybe he gets a few cameos, but
maybe Weddle.
I
don't think Hardwick goes to him. Maybe.
Is he important enough to put Weddle on him?
In his 300th, yeah.
Weddle's such a weapon for us in the air. Dusty's not going to give us that problem in the air, and I think Weds might have the at this stage tendency to maybe jump when he might not need to, and a Dusty would stay down at times. And maybe that'd be part of the briefing. Does he need? Here we go. Hardwick's suggestion. Mitchell. I reckon he's going to give up too much. As much as I love Seamus, just the strength. Seamus goes and tackles and hits the hips really well, and speed he'd have him covered. But I just think Dusty's still that weapon. Not quite the matchup for mine. Oh, here we go. You got some agreement from Con there, Weddle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the two that I've seen are probably Seamus and Dimmer maybe, but I imagine Dimmer will probably go to Bolton if he's playing. I don't know what Richmond side are like. I haven't followed a lot of Richmond this year, but yeah, maybe. No, I don't think he comes back in. No.
Can't get in now at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's a great problem to have, but I don't know how he comes back in.
That's
Impy,
probably cool.
Impy probably, yeah. If you're not going to put Weddle on him, then probably Impy.
Yep. All right, good call. Between those two, I'm sure we'll be happy. Even possibly a Scrimshaw if Dusty's starting to look a bit dangerous, because he's good all round.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. There was a call to see if we can get Lane on, because when he comes on, we always beat the Tigers. Maybe we can tee that on up. We won't be doing a preview, but if you haven't subscribed or followed us on our podcast, check them out. They are just growing all the time. Lots of people listening, lots of downloads on your favorite podcast platform. Talking Hawks, there'll be a 6 points where we have spent a little bit more time thinking about the game. We're taking in turns, sharing what we see as three big points. The two of us usually jump on, not Mitch and I, but sometimes we jump in there and do it. So check that out. That'll be out in the coming day or two. But go on, if you listen to the podcast or you haven't, why not? Why not check it out and then follow us while you're there? So everyone, thanks for joining us. Mitch, you have outdone me. I'm going to have to lift the game with the dress. I need in-laws like yours. And everyone, go and get some Hawks merch because we should be representing right now. But parting thoughts, Mitchie?
Nah, just great win. Yeah, we're getting better every week at the moment, and I think it's it's good for fans to see, because I think this last sort of 6-week period has been what we sort of expected from week one, which we didn't quite get, but nonetheless, great response in season, and let's hopefully we can get another week against the Tigs next week.
Yeah, you've absolutely taken the 3 votes tonight. Thanks everyone for joining us. We will catch you all again soon. Go the Hawks.
Go Hawks.